Get your coffee, get your tea. Come on, sit down with me. So for today's drink, I have a honey lemon espresso with whipped cream and cinnamon, and I drizzle some of the honey lemon at the top. It is so good. I didn't think honey went in coffee, but something was like, let's try it, see how it goes, and I love it. I must admit, I love it. So for today's quick conversation, this was a thought that I had, and I hurried up and wrote it down. Sometimes we cut away at the most important pieces of ourselves because we believe they need to be fixed, not realizing we are viewing it from a broken world. Let's talk about it. It makes me think of puzzles. How the puzzle is whole. When they make the puzzle, it's one piece. But when they put it in a box, they break it up for you to put it together. And they tell you how many pieces is in the puzzle. And the company finds value in not breaking the puzzle, but essentially you can say breaking the puzzle and putting it in the box in order to give the customer a thrill in order to put it together. But what if people is breaking away and taking away the most important pieces of themselves, but they don't find the thrill in putting themselves back together because they feel like they wasn't the ones that broke them, but they allowed the outside worlds to break them, but yet they don't find the value in finding themselves again in a broken world where everyone is missing a piece. Let's talk about it. That was a mouthful. That was a mouthful. And it's like everyone wants to be whole, but no one wants to find the missing pieces of themselves after people chipped away at different pieces of you. And if you're putting yourself together and you realize certain pieces is missing, a lot of people want to go to the person that broke them in order to get the piece back. But what if I tell you that the person that took the piece from you destroyed the piece, lost the piece, they didn't find value in keeping that piece of the puzzle, of your puzzle. And they wonder, why did you give them a piece of yourself that you can no longer get back or can't find or fix within yourself? And the thing is, you can never go back to what was broken, but you have to understand the value of fixing it in order to be whole for you. And sometimes people even find value in breaking themselves so no one can look at them as wholeness in a world of brokenness. And that's a scary thing because no one wants a missing piece of themselves, but yet going through the process of building that piece that was already instilled into you is the most painful thing overall, because you have to become the machine behind it all. You have to become the artist, essentially. You have to become the master manifester. You have to become everything in order to get that one thing back. And it takes so much time in, I wouldn't even say manufacturing, because when you manufacture something, you're doing something at a large scale. But when you're doing one particular thing, it's like an artist trying to master their crafts. And it's kind of like God. Because, there's a lot of people in the world, but in order to master your craft and to find the individuality or the, yeah, in someone or something, you have to pay attention to what it needs in order for it to feel something more than just pieces of themselves. It made me think of this. People who only have pieces of themselves, have they put themselves together to see if they are even missing a piece in the first place? And a person who don't even find value in even looking at the pieces of themselves, because they understand that what they have to work with will never create the bigger picture of what they see for themselves. Life, the journey of life. And that's crazy how one quote made me analyze everything into such a vast perspective, to where I can see not only the depth of it, but build heights from it to allow you all to understand how I view it and how I see it within the world that I'm living in, the world that we all living in, and even people in general. My question to you, as I finish talking with this quick conversation, what is the most important pieces you have took away from yourself because you felt like it needed to be fixed, only to make only to later realize you were actually whole and you was viewing it from a broken world? Prime example, when somebody do a modification to their body, I'm not shaming plastic surgery or whatever, you want to do what you want to do, but don't allow yourself to view it from a broken world, but allow yourself to view it from the wholeness of you and how you see yourself. If you're unhappy with it, fix it. But when the world shame you for it, understand the vision that you had for it. So they can't even shame you because you're showing up shameless, because you understand everything else is broken. And if they see everything that is broken within you, they will never see the wholeness for you. That is what I'm trying to get at. And when some people do it, they do it from the eyes of brokenness. And once they change themselves in such a way, they want to go back to who they was and what they was before, and they understand they cannot. And that's the part that hurts the most, is because I changed myself for someone else, to only later realize I didn't view myself from my own eyes. I didn't view myself as perfection because everyone else was telling me how broken I was or how much better I can be. But yet I don't feel better after the change, but somehow I see the value that I once held that I feel like I no longer possess. That is the thing. Mm. That's the part that make me say this quote that I came up with that I love so dearly is, I didn't come up with the first part, but the last couple of parts I did. But beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and everyone has a vision for it. But you have to understand that everyone don't find beauty in the same thing. Prime example, the ocean. A surfer views the ocean beauty based upon its waves. A swimmer views the ocean based on its current. A person that is sunbathing and is sitting on the sand, they see the beauty of the scenery of the ocean and the sky and everything around it. And a boat, a sailor, they see the beauty as in how the ocean moves with them to take them to where they need to go. They view it completely differently. They view it as a flow, as a source of movement, as a understanding of this is something so expansive and yet so deep, and yet I can sit on the surface and admire it all without going to the depths of it, but understanding the surface of it while I view all the beauty that's surrounding it. See how different people view the beauty of one thing. And some people will look at the seashells and find the little jellyfish and the little different things because they want to understand how can something be so beautiful and leave behind pieces of itself but still be whole. Hold up now. Do you get it? So I'm going to ask you this. Are you viewing yourself from the wholeness of being the artist of your life? Or are you viewing yourself from the brokenness of the world? I'm going to let that sit right there. I'm going to let that marinate up in your head. Because, honey, that's a word right there. Excuse me. That is a word right there. We only 11 minutes in and I'm going in, honey. I hope y'all staying with me. But that's what I thought when I thought of this quote, when I wrote it down, and when I sit and marinate on it. Because when I'm doing my videos, before I even do my videos, I analyze life and the different perspectives and the different narratives of how people view it in order to come up with something so longing. And the reason I say longing, because I allow myself to capture it all, put it in a quote, and then get on video and explain it in its depth. Just by this, a couple of sentences. And that make me think how you can create something. Just by a couple of words. I was able to expand my thoughts with this video. And I was able to give it depth based on my understanding. And I was able to give it height based on everyone that views it, understand it, love it, and share it. That's the art of creating. That's the art of feel like if I have something missing, all I have to do is understand what I need to do, not only to create it, but to make myself feel whole again, even when I feel broken within it. You know, manifestation is a good thing, but you need to also understand how small it can be and how big it can grow to. Prime example. I always say, God, I got faith of a mustard seed. God say, when you going to plant that mustard seed? You're holding on to it, but you're tending to the soil. I think I made a video about this. And it made me think about this. When you plant the mustard seed, everything that you touch and you tend to within it is what grows and allows you to see how much it grew from one little thing. Prime example, where my perspective shifts. It started off as one video. When I recorded that one video, based on listening to God's direction, I was afraid to expand on it because it was just a seed. God was like, I want you to write. I said, God, you know how much I despise writing because I did it when I was in the most pain of my life, growing pains. And God said, that is what you're doing now. You're having growing pains because everything that you dreamed of is going to allow you to expand and change your perspective and your mindset on everything, because you're going to take up so much ground. For the longest, I was like, I'm not writing. The next thing you know, I started writing on Substack. Then I had a feeling that I needed to start making videos for YouTube. I was like, I'm not doing it. I don't want to be on YouTube. I'm just going to stick to what I'm doing. Because I was already recording my videos on TikTok. Then I went to Substack. Then I went to YouTube. And God said, I want you to start doing this and that. And I was like, God said your mustard seed is growing. Your faith grows with your seed and understands the fruit of your labor so you can enjoy your harvest. And when I thought of it that way, I realized I was so afraid of what my harvest will become, because I was looking at it from a broken world that tell you believe but not believe too much. Work, but don't overexalt yourself in your own dreams, but work hard for someone else's. I was viewing it from a scarcity mindset, but yet I was still having belief and still looking to see if the seed was growing, but I was refusing to put the labor in to enjoy my harvest, because I didn't know if it would grow. But yet I had faith of a mustard seed. And I thought about how much I love tending to my own garden and growing my perspective and understanding my depth, and also coming to the conclusion that I don't have layers like an onion, because eventually you get to the middle. But I have depth like the ocean, because I understand there's more beneath the surface than I can display in order for people to see the beauty. But if they want to explore my depth, they need to be skilled and how would I say this? And value everything beneath the surface in order to see me through it all. And I wouldn't say through it all, but when my perspective shifts, it shows you my depth. But with my face, the way I dress up, it shows you my surface. Some people see the surface of me and they love it. Some people see the depth of me and they hate it, because they understand they cannot swim. They understand they do not want to deep dive within the ocean that I am, but they just want to ride the wave of the surface and see how far and where it will take them if they just ride the wave. But somehow they always end up back on the sand, which they came, because they understand a wave is only something temporary that cannot take you further back. Let me explain it like this. A wave goes towards the beach. A current is just something that's naturally like flowing, motion. If someone wants to get to the other side to see how wide the ocean is and how many miles, they have to get into a boat to explore it. I want you to think about that. But I can go on and on about this topic, because when you understand that, you will also understand how someone is showing up in order to understand what they are getting from the beauty of you. So that is a perspective to shift your reality and something to really be thought about. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out my podcast, as well as my Substacks I've been writing, and everything else that I have been working on. And hopefully I will see you next time.